Rome wasn't built in a day, and it didn't fall in one either. For over 2,000 years, Rome has shaped our world, from our laws to the very words we speak. Today, on Ancient Footprints, we're going to explore the amazing story of history's greatest empire. When you think of Rome, you probably picture powerful armies, huge marble buildings, and emperors wearing purple. But there's so much more to this story. At its peak, 1 out of every 5 people on Earth lived under Roman rule. How did a tiny village by a river grow to control most of the known world? And why, despite all its power, did it eventually collapse? The answers might surprise you. So join me as we uncover the secrets of an empire that still influences our lives today. Mythical beginnings. The story of Rome starts with a murder. According to legend, twin brothers Romulus and Remus, who were raised by a wolf, wanted to build a city in 753 BCE, but they fought about where to put it. Romulus killed his brother and built Rome on the Palatine Hill. This brother-killing brother would become a pattern in Roman history. Often, Rome's biggest enemy wasn't foreign invaders, but Romans fighting other Romans for power. Romulus welcomed outlaws, criminals, and refugees to his new city. But they had a problem. They needed women. So what did they do? They invited neighboring tribes to a festival, then kidnapped their young women to be wives. Violence to get what they wanted. This became a Roman tradition. From these rough beginnings, Rome grew into a kingdom with 7 kings. But Romans came to hate being ruled by kings, especially after the cruel reign of Tarquinius the Proud. In 509 BCE, they kicked out their king and created something new, a republic where elected officials and a senate governed instead of one all-powerful ruler. The Republic. The early republic wasn't really fair by today's standards. Rich patrician families had all the power, while the common plebeians, regular people, had very little say. But what made Rome special was its ability to change and adapt. Over hundreds of years, the common people gained more rights by organizing protests and even threatening to leave the city. The 12 Tables, Rome's first written laws, were created, giving citizens clear legal protections. This willingness to change instead of break apart became one of Rome's greatest strengths. Meanwhile, Rome started growing beyond its walls. Not because they had some master plan to rule the world, but through what I call defensive expansion. They would secure their borders by taking over neighboring territories, which created new borders that also needed securing, and so on in a never-ending cycle. The Romans were smart conquerors. Unlike other empires that forced their culture on conquered peoples, Rome offered something revolutionary, the chance to become Roman. Conquered peoples could earn citizenship, adopt Roman customs, and even rise to positions of power. This open approach allowed Rome to absorb the best elements of the cultures it encountered. As one ancient writer said, Rome conquered Greece, but Greek culture conquered Rome. The Romans weren't too proud to recognize and adopt good ideas, whether in art, building, or warfare. From republic to empire. By 100 BCE, Rome controlled the entire Mediterranean. But success brought problems. Generals like Marius and Sulla commanded powerful armies more loyal to them than to the state Wealth poured in from conquered lands, making the rich richer and the poor poorer. Enter Julius Caesar, brilliant general, charismatic politician, and master of self-promotion. After conquering Gaul, modern France, Caesar faced a choice: give up his command and possibly face trial, or march on Rome itself. In 49 BCE, he crossed the Rubicon River with his loyal soldiers, famously saying, "The die is cast." Civil war broke out. Caesar won and was named dictator for life, but his power scared many senators who feared he wanted to become king. On March 15th, 44 BCE, the Ides of March, Caesar was stabbed to death by senators who thought they were saving the Republic. They were wrong. Caesar's death started another civil war, ending with his adopted son, Octavian, defeating all rivals. In 27 BCE, Octavian took the name Augustus and became Rome's first emperor, though he cleverly pretended the Republic still existed. Augustus found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble. During his 41-year rule, he created a permanent army, built roads connecting the empire, fixed the tax system, and brought the Pax Romana, 2 centuries of relative peace and prosperity. The Golden Age. The 1st and 2nd centuries CE marked Rome's high point. The empire stretched from Britain to Egypt, from Spain to Iraq. 1 in every 4 humans on Earth lived under Roman rule. This wasn't just military power. It was a golden age of invention. The Romans were amazing builders who changed the landscape with their creations. They built 250,000 miles of roads, enough to circle the Earth 10 times. Their aqueducts brought fresh water to cities using just the power of gravity. The Pantheon's concrete dome remained the world's largest for 1,300 years. Roman cities had public baths, sewer systems, and apartment buildings with multiple floors. They even had heated floors called hypocausts. While medieval Europeans would later forget how to build good roads, the Romans were creating heated swimming pools. Trade boomed across this huge territory. Goods from China, India, and Africa flowed into Roman markets. A merchant could travel from Britain to Syria without ever leaving Roman territory or changing money. For the average Roman citizen, life was pretty good. They enjoyed public entertainment in massive amphitheaters, ate exotic foods from distant provinces, and were protected by the rule of law. Many slaves could earn or buy their freedom, becoming citizens whose children would have full rights. But beneath this shiny surface, cracks were starting to form. Seeds of decline. By the 3rd century CE, Rome faced growing problems. The empire had grown too large to govern effectively. Messages between Rome and distant provinces took weeks to arrive. Corruption spread as officials far from central authority enriched themselves. The military, once Rome's greatest strength, became a problem. Emperors increasingly relied on the army for power, leading to a dangerous situation. The Praetorian Guard, meant to protect emperors, began making and unmaking them at will. Between 235 and 284 CE, 26 men claimed the imperial throne, most ruling briefly before being murdered. This period, known as the crisis of the 3rd century, nearly destroyed the empire. Germanic tribes and Persian armies attacked Roman territory. Plague killed millions of people. The economy collapsed as emperors made coins with less and less precious metal to pay their troops. Emperor Diocletian temporarily fixed things through major reforms. He divided the empire into eastern and western halves, each with its own ruler. He also established the Tetrarchy, a system of 4 co-emperors governing different regions. While this arrangement didn't last, it recognized a basic truth. The empire had grown too vast for one man to rule. Christianity and Constantine. In 312 CE, a general named Constantine was fighting for control of the Western Empire. According to legend, he saw a vision of a cross in the sky with the words, "In this sign, conquer." After winning a key battle, Constantine credited his victory to the Christian God. The Edict of Milan in 313 CE made Christianity legal, ending centuries of persecution. Constantine later moved the imperial capital from Rome to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople, modern Istanbul. This strategic location between Europe and Asia would serve as the empire's center for the next 1,000 years. Constantine's embrace of Christianity transformed Rome. The empire that had once fed Christians to lions now built magnificent churches. Pagan temples were converted or abandoned. By 380 CE, Christianity became the official state religion. This religious revolution happened alongside mounting external pressures. The Huns, a nomadic people from Central Asia, pushed westward, forcing Germanic tribes to flee into Roman territory. Rather than welcoming these refugees, corrupt Roman officials exploited them, turning potential allies into enemies. The fall of Rome. In 395 CE, Emperor Theodosius III died, leaving the empire to his sons, Arcadius in the east and Honorius in the west. This division became permanent, while the Eastern Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, would last for another 1,000 years. The Western Empire entered its final decline. Rome itself was attacked and looted by Visigothic forces in 410 CE. The first time in 800 years, foreign enemies had breached its walls. As Roman authority collapsed, provincial governors and military commanders established independent kingdoms. The final blow came in 476 CE, when the Germanic commander, Odoacer, removed the last Western Roman emperor, the teenage Romulus Augustulus. Odoacer sent the imperial crown to Constantinople, declaring himself King of Italy under nominal Eastern authority. With that quiet act, the Western Roman Empire ended, not with a dramatic last stand, but with a whimper. The once mighty empire that had ruled the Mediterranean for 1,000 years simply faded away. Legacy. Yet Rome never really fell. Its influence lives on in our laws, languages, and buildings. The Eastern Roman Empire continued until 1453, preserving Roman traditions for another 1,000 years. The Catholic Church adopted Roman administrative structures and Latin as its official language. Even the idea of empire itself was forever defined by Rome. When Charlemagne was crowned Emperor of the Romans in 800 CE, he was claiming Rome's legacy. The Russian word Tsar and German Kaiser both come from Caesar. Perhaps Rome's greatest legacy was its ability to adapt. Throughout its history, Rome survived by evolving from kingdom to republic to empire, from many gods to Christianity, from Italian city-state to multicultural superpower. So what finally brought down this mighty civilization? No single factor, but rather a perfect storm. Military overextension, economic crisis, corruption, climate change, and foreign invasions all played a role. Rome's fall reminds us that no empire, however powerful, lasts forever. Yet in another way, Rome never truly died. Its spirit lives on in every government that writes laws, every engineer who builds roads, and every leader who dreams of uniting diverse peoples under a common purpose. As the Roman poet Ovid wrote, "I have built a monument more lasting than bronze." He was right. 2,000 years later, we're still living in the shadow of Rome. This has been Ancient Footprints. If you enjoyed this journey through Roman history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let us know in the comments which lost civilization you'd like us to explore next. We're excited to hear your suggestions. Until then, remember that understanding our past helps us navigate our future.